Hello gamers, and welcome back to Solo Spelunking. And this time it is time for another episode in my solo RPG tutorial series, where I will showcase how a solo role-playing session might look like from a beginner's perspective when you're just starting out. So I'm not using fancy equipment, not a lot of stuff, maps, miniatures, but only basic supplies that you probably have lying around the house or that are freely available. And so I encourage you to check out session 0 and session 1 of this series to know what this series is about and what it wants to focus on. Short version is, here it is more me explaining how to use and implement different solo tools and how you could go about different situations instead of me creating an epic story or tale. I do not want to do a long recap. So last session, Alrik, our hero, which is this guy right here, the only fancy thing I will be using in this series, a hero miniature. Everything else will be generic pawns, tokens, and battle mats. He managed to escape a sting operation set up by the city guards because his criminal contact Theo, sold him out to the guards, maybe because he had no choice. So I put sold me out here next to my criminal contact background feature. So for the moment I can't use this background feature. Maybe it'll clear itself up in the later sessions, I don't know, but for the moment Theo is not trustworthy. He sold me out, I can't not use him, and I managed to escape the guards. So now first what I did, I put down the time. It's 1300 hours or 1 p.m. Or past noon, because I met Theo the next day at noon. This is what I put down here, and I figured this whole exchange, walking to the marketplace, talking to Theo, escaping the guards, and now running through the alleyways once I got the last guard of my tail. That took an hour, so now it's 1300 hours. And I always recommend, when you're playing urban adventures or in a city or town environment, no matter what genre, that you keep track at least roughly of the time of day, because it helps you to keep your bearing, to know what is going on, how the streets might look like. And it's not that important in the wilderness when you know, all right, so I'm walking the entire day and I rest for the night, and then I'm walking and then I rest. There you don't really need it, but if you're in a city, urban environment, I would recommend tracking the time. So now it is 1300 hours, so that you have a feel, like for example, if the shops are open, how busy or bustling the streets are, and whatever. So now what I would do, or what I will do, is I need to figure out if the guards were specifically looking for me as the person Alrik, if I am a wanted person, or if they were just looking for any burglar who worked with Theo without having a clear description or picture or drawing of me, which would of course be good if that was the case, if they would just look for some generic dude, because then I could just lay low for a while and that would be it. So this is what I will determine, and there I will again ask the almighty D6 Oracle. And I'm giving it standard odds, so no modifier. And as always, the red die will be the event die. So were they looking specifically for me? That is the question. So actually I'm looking for a low result here. It's a 6, so the worst outcome. Event die is a 5, so nothing happens. So yes, and So what I do in this case now, because my character Alrik, he doesn't know this yet. And if I want to record information in my journal that is important for the further story or background, but my character doesn't know, I put OOC for out of character in front of it. So OOC. And now I do not repeat the question in my journal because I know what I asked. I just put down the result. So yes and means yes, they were specifically looking for me, and they also have a sketch. You would in today's time you would probably call it a mugshot or something. So they also have a detailed sketch of my face, like a wanted poster. I don't know how they got onto my tail or trail. I don't know. I don't really know as a character that there is looking for me, but I put down I'll read it to you. Let me just put this down real quick. All right, so I put down OOC for out of character, background information for me. Alrik is wanted as an individual. The city guards have a detailed sketch of my face. So I was switching back to the eye perspective, but never mind. They will put posters up soon because they wanted to catch me. They didn't succeed. So now they will pretty soon put wanted posters up from or of me, like wanted for burglary, a guy by the name of Alrik with a sketch of my face at the marketplace, notice squares, city gates, whatever. So this might be a problem. I probably need to leave this city. Yeah, I'm in Neverwinter. I think this is what I said. Let me look it up. I think, yeah. I think I'm a Neverwinter, so let's make it Neverwinter. And but I do not know this yet, so this is background information. So what I will do now, quickly I jump the fence and disappear. My goal as a character now is to hide someplace and lay low for a few days. So I will be heading for the slum district, slum/undercity, poorer district of the city, and get a room in a very run-down, dirty, red hole establishment where I can be pretty sure that probably there I will be pretty safe, and try to get a small common room there above, or a small room above the common room for a couple of silver pieces. All right, so this is what I will do. And now I will imagine the scene again. I will put it down and I read it to you. And what I will do now, just so that you can get an idea, I have decided I will now switch my journaling from those sentences that I write or wrote to single words separated by commas, buzzwords, so that you can, and then I read them to you, and then you can see the difference, and then you can see for yourself if that would be enough for you to imagine the scene. So I will put down the words, and then I'll explain what I imagine, and then you can check if you basically had also a good picture, doesn't need to be the same, a good picture of the situation so that you can see maybe what kind of difference journaling styles can make. And then you can decide for yourself maybe what you would prefer. So this is what I will do. All right, so I put down, head for slum/undercity, find rundown inn, rent cheap room. So this is basically what I was imagining now, that I head for the slums, and get a room. So this is basically all the journaling that you might need in order to keep your thoughts focused in the story and to paint a mental picture, because like I said, this for me is the main purpose of journaling. So, and you do not need to play out every minute, every hour of every day. It is perfectly fine to skip time. And in this case, I could, if I wanted to, make another check to see if somebody finds me, but I determined that they will put up the posters soon, maybe tomorrow, and that maybe word has not spread into the undercity area of the city, so I will not make a check now. I will just assume that this is all happening as I imagine it. And let's say I was laying low for a while, wandering through the streets, and now it is 4 p.m. 1600 hours as I enter or rent this rundown room, and I will not look it up. I got 3 gold pieces, so I will say that it's 5 silver pieces to rent this room. So I got 2 gold pieces left, and now I put down silver here. I usually only use gold coins, but I put down silver 5. So I got 2 gold coins and 5 silver left. Rent cheap room. I put down again 1 night. So only for 1 night at first. So I can have 1 night. So it's 1600 hours. I'm in the room and I got this room for 1 night. Okay, so since I do not know that they're looking for me, there's no reason for me at the moment to try to escape or whatever. So I assume if I just lay low, it is fine. But to make things interesting now, of course, me as a player, I might want that my character gets to know this information, because this would take the story in a different direction. So now what I do in my thinking process, I imagine if there might be a possibility that I might pick this information up. And for me, in my mind, there is, because I'm in a rundown inn where also like shady people, maybe they talk, they keep tabs on things. So I will, of course, 1600 hours, I rented my room. So in the evening, I will go down in the common room and I will sit down, and maybe I hear some rumors about the guard looking for a specific guy. So I could maybe put 1 and 1 together. So this will be my thought process now as a player, how my character could possibly gain this OOC information. And always give yourself a chance to fail. It's not really, I mean, it would be, you can cheat in a solo game, but it would not be fair if I would just say, all right, I'm down in the common room and I hear people talking and now I know this stuff. But I will give myself the possibility to know it and the chance to fail, which makes it interesting. And this is why this is also not creative writing, but actually playing a role-playing game. Because this is also one of the things people, or not people, but that I have sometimes read about solo role-playing, that this is more of a creative writing with dice exercise. But I don't think that is true. So now I imagine a scene and I will use this shorter journaling style so that you can, like I said, get the picture. All right, I put down, head into common room, find table in a corner, order ale, bread and stew, listen to conversation. So that's the short version. And now I put down in parentheses 1800 hours or 6 p.m. This is when I leave my room to head into the common room. So it is early evening now. So, and this could actually be enough to paint this mental picture. So now again, we have two options or two decision points here. The first decision point would be that we need to determine, are people actually talking about this incident? That would be the first question we need to answer. And the second question is, do I pick this information up? Because it can be that maybe it's in the other corner of the common room and it's loud and crowded and I don't even hear it. And this is basically similar to when I was listening in the streets, how I deal with these situations. So I will determine first if people are actually talking about this stuff. And now a little bit metagaming again. If you want to make it interesting, you could give it higher odds that the people are talking about it. But I'm not sure because, like I said, this is a rundown in a shady part of town. And I assume that the people there, they keep tabs on the dealings and workings in the city, but also there might only be common workers there who couldn't care less. So in this case, what I will do now is I will make a general fate roll. Low is bad and high is good. And if I roll low, it'll be an unmodified oracle roll. And if I roll high, it will be a modified oracle roll in my favor. So this is also a mechanic you can use if you're on the fence between modifying the odds or not. Usually one of the things you hear as advice is if you're unsure, just go with 50-50. But maybe it is such a corner case that this might be too simple, and maybe you want to add another fate element to it. So this is what I will be doing. If I roll low, it is an unmodified oracle roll, and if I roll high, it is a modified roll in my favor. And I rolled low, 1, 2, 3, so it's an unmodified oracle roll, so I will just use the normal oracle with the event die and ask, are people in the common room talking about the incident at the marketplace? Or do I have the chance to pick up that the guards are looking for me? So, and I'm rolling. 2. It's a no and no event. So no, I do not have the chance, or they're not actually talking about it. So I'm just sitting there, and yeah, it's just normal conversation. I do not get any hints about this OOC information, so it'll probably be a pretty pretty bad surprise the next day. All right, so I imagine a short scene, put this down. All right, so I put down, hear nothing of relevance, finish meal, head back to room, sleep. So that's the rest of the evening. So I will not check if anything happens during the night because I'm resting at an inn. So at the next day I also have to leave because I only rented the room for a night, but sleeping is an extended rest. So I will regain all my hit points. I only lost 1 hit point, so I'm fully healed. I didn't use any hit dice so far, so I'm back to speed. All right, so now what I wanted to do, or what I imagined for my character now that, I'm low on funds. I only have 2 gold pieces and 5 silver. I can't count on my contact. I didn't get any money for the job that I did, so I'm looking for work. And what I also always like to include in my solo gaming sessions, or if you're in a town or city, and that's always a good jumping point into adventure, is a notice board. Every good city, every medieval city, or even a small village, on the village square, market square, whatever, they have a notice board where there are announcements, job offers, whatever, because we obviously don't have the internet and we don't have social media, so we got to keep informed, or we stay informed by looking at notice boards. So my plan was, and I will do this because I have no reason to change my plan, to head now after one night. I feel pretty confident that things have cooled off, and I'm not really sure if they were even looking for me as a person. So I will now be heading back to the market square, marketplace, to look at the notice board. Of course, I will, if I spot a guard, I will try to move around her or him or them. Yeah, I just put this down. All right, so I put down, head back to Market Square, want to check notice board, avoid guards if possible. So now you can decide how much of an impact do you want this to have? Do you want it to be just an annoyance? Or maybe do you want to become the focus maybe of an urban adventure, that you're a fugitive and gotta get out of there? So you can decide. I decide, so in your sessions, and then depending on your decision, you could act out this traversing the city, heading back to the marketplace, guard patrols, as you like. Maybe they have increased patrols now, which would of course be probable or logical in this game world. So I have decided for me that I want this to be background noise that could affect me, but I do not want to make a large story arc out of this. Also because of metagaming or OOC reasons, because this is a tutorial and I also want to show other tools and how I go about other aspects of solo role-playing, in particular random notice board quests and dungeon delving. So this is actually what I want to get into. But if I would wanted this to be a major part, I would probably now do something like put down that I notice increased guard patrols and that I have to make a skill challenge to reach the market square unnoticed. I will not do that now, but I will just make an oracle roll and just ask, do I have to avoid a guard on my way there? I just give it normal odds. So do I have to evade a guard? And it's a 4. Yes, but. All right, so this is actually a good example. Event die is also... So I will not make a large skill challenge out of this because I don't want this to be a major part, just background noise. So yes, but means, yes, I do have to avoid a guard, but he is distracted at the moment because he's talking to a street vendor. So I will say that I have to make a normal or a stealth check against his passive perception, which I will set at maybe 11. So he's got a wisdom modifier of 1. And I just say that he's not proficient, but maybe a guard should be proficient. All right, so yeah. All right, so I say, okay, he does not have a wisdom modifier because they got all stats 10 basically as minion NPC kind of things. But he's proficient in perception because as a guard, you should keep your eyes open and look for anything that is suspicious. So he's got his +2 proficiency bonus because he is anywhere between level 1 and 4. So you can eyeball this. You can assume that a guard, if it's not a guard captain or sergeant or leader, he would be anywhere between level 1 or 4 with a proficiency bonus of +2. Because the first 4 levels it's +2 if you play 5th edition. So he's got a passive perception of 12, 10 +2, and I need to make a stealth check. I have stealth +5, so I got pretty good odds, but always give yourself a chance to fail. And this is how I will handle this. To make it a little bit interesting, but not too much of a problem. But of course, you know my luck. So the regular viewers, you know my luck. So it is a 3 plus my 5, that is 8. Versus his passive perception of 12, that is a fail. All right. So actually, I didn't really anticipate this, but like this is unedited footage directly from the game table. So even though I didn't really want this to happen, I got to deal with it now. So now I imagine a short scene. I will not tell you too much. I just imagine something, put down some words, and then you see what kind of mental picture you paint from what I put down. All right, so I put down, see a distracted talking guard, want to sneak past. As I move, he turns his head, catches me out of the corner of his eye, shouts, halt, runs. So this is the scene that I imagined, and so hopefully from these words you can also paint this mental picture. So to elaborate a little, I was walking or sneaking past him as he just turns and out of the corner of his catches me, and he turns around, hey, halt! And then he runs towards me. So I'm like, ugh. And now we can do this little evasion chase scene again. But I will tweak the odds in my favor, but still staying within the logic of the game world. Because now my thought process is it's only one guard, not 2 or 3, at least at the moment. And I have sort of a head start because I'm almost past him, and he was a few meters away, so he was a little distant. And as when he starts running, I start running, and I got an advantage because of the distance between us and my proximity to the winding alleyways. So it'll be a skill challenge, but it'll be an easier skill challenge, as you will see. So I'll set up another skill challenge, and this is one of my favorite mechanics also for solo role-playing that you can use if you want to, because it doesn't really make sense to solve puzzles, because if you're the GM and the player in one entity, how are you going to do 2 puzzles? Unless you, I don't know, get out a Sudoku book and actually try to solve a puzzle as a player, and then transfer it into a game puzzle, maybe, like, for example, something with runes or so. You could do that. But I'm not into this stuff. I don't do Sudokus. So a skill challenge basically is a catch-all mechanic. If you want to showcase your character's ability, you want to work with the rule system that you choose, with the mechanics, to get this game aspect in, this game feeling. So I will set up a skill challenge, but it'll be an easier skill challenge. So I determine I only need 3 successes before 3 failures. And now my ink is running low, so I'll just so it's empty, so I'll just change this real quick. But I always have a spare ink cartridge in my gaming kit, at least in the one I got downstairs, not in this one. So let me check here real quick. Yes, there it is. All right, so just new ink cartridge in there real quick. All right, and this is it. So 3 successes before I get 3 failures, and I choose 3 skills. I choose, of course, the ones that I have: acrobatics, athletics, and stealth. And the DC I will set at 12, because this is what his passive perception was. It doesn't really apply for acrobatics and stealth, but and athletics, but it's a good value. So that'll be this skill challenge. So I gotta run this real quick. So acrobatics. I make it 14, so that's 1 success down. Three for athletics, +4, that's a failure. 1 failure. And now I have to do athletics again until I pass by my skill challenge rules. 8 + 4, that's 12. That is barely enough, but it's enough. It's a success. So 1 success to go. Now it's stealth, +5. 14. Yes. All right. So I managed to escape. Okay. So put down a small blurb. So I put down, managed to escape through alleyways. Concerned now. Seems like I'm still a person of interest. So because of this incident, I'm suspicious now that, maybe I didn't stay or lay low long enough, or maybe they are looking specifically for me. I don't know. So for me, this is a reminder for my character that I gotta be real careful now. So I'm still continuing on heading to the market square, but before I enter, I will check it out. So imagine this little scene and how it goes, and put it down. All right, so I just put down, continue to market square, check for guards from side alley. So I'm checking for guards from the side alley, and I forgot to put down a time. So I slept, and then let's say I got up at like maybe 9 or so, and then I head back to the market square after I had breakfast. So now it's 10 o'clock before noon. So 10, what is it, a.m.? 10 o'clock. All right, so now again, this is something that you would ask the game master. Are there any guards? And of course, it's very likely because it's the market square, and obviously they're looking for me, so it'll be a modified roll, and I would take the higher result because it's likely. So I ask the game master, which is not there, so I ask the oracle, do I spot any guards overseeing the market square? Yes, and no event. So it's yes, and of course. So they have guards posted at every major entrance to the market square, and also 2 patrols with 2 guards each patrolling the square. And as I'm looking, another guard is actually heading towards my alley right now because because this is the end. So the end always enforces the yes. So let's put this in a short blurb and see if this is enough, or would also be enough for you to paint this mental picture. All right, so I put down guards posted at every major access point. 2-person patrols on square. A guard is headed toward me. And again, I'm explaining here now. So let's assume there's no camera, so that in my table game, just for me, this would be the thing. I would continue to market square, check for guards. Then I would imagine the scene in my head, just put it down, and then I would make possible rolls or checks or whatever, and then imagine and so on. So it is actually a pretty quiet and also pretty quick affair, especially if you switch your journaling to these shorter buzzwords, I would like to call them now. I don't know the English expression. In Germany we would say Stichworte, so only like little words that spark your memory or imagination. So I don't know if that's a correct translation. I might look it up later. So of course now I need to leave, and this is what I will do. All right, so let's do something I'm only doing because this is a tutorial, and actually I got certain things that I want to show you in this tutorial and not get lost into this evolving story. But you see how a story can evolve with just a few oracle rolls and basically random events. And we didn't even roll a random event. So I was never at this point where I had to use the random idea generator because I've never rolled a 1. So this all developed basically from the one result when I was just asking in the exchange, do I get my money or does everything work out? Am I paid by correctly? And there I got no end. And that was not only do I not get my money, it is also that was the first thing that came to mind. And because of this incident with the guards getting involved, this whole basically fugitive story now develops. So this is something that is unpredictable, and what I think that is also the fun of solo gaming in this generative method without a published adventure, that you're really in the situation and you don't know what is happening. But actually I wanted to do some dungeon crawling too, to show how I go about this dungeon crawling. So as this is a tutorial, we just do something that I wouldn't do normally. We skip time a little and just assume that that I got out of the city and I'm heading towards I said, all right, so this is Neverwinter. Let's just say I know the map from Phendelin, from Lost Mines of Phendelver. Let's just say I'm heading south, and on the trail or on the road towards the Tribor Trail, and on my way I come across a ruined dungeon site, and I decide to explore it because, like I said, I'm low on funds still, and I had to leave basically in a hurry. And so why not use this opportunity to check out this dungeon? So just so that we are on the same page, I put down some quick notes. Alright, so I just put down, leave town as fast as I could, head south, came across ruined manor with underground complex, decide to investigate. Alright, so but I'm looking at the time, this video it's already almost 50 minutes, so I will do this in the next session of this tutorial. Because of the developments, it took longer than I expected, and but I still hope that you also got something out of this session, like how I would approach different things and when and what to ask the Oracle, and how different methods of journaling might affect your imagination and your mental picture of the scene. So that will be it for this part, and we will continue soon and shortly when I will show how I would do the process of solo dungeon crawling during a game session. So as always, thanks for watching, and let me know in the comments what you think of this. And yeah, of course, please do like and subscribe if you haven't done so already, and tell your friends about this channel. And I will hopefully see you in the next video. But as always, stay safe and stay healthy. Bye bye.